Welcome to my class. I've got something I want to show you. Hugs and kisses, everyone. This is something you want to be careful if you have children. You don't want them to, if you're going to teach them needle tatting or boat shuttle tatting, you need to be very careful, okay? So let's get started. I'm so excited. My very first needle and shuttle tatting class. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Joanne Guitron. Yes, Guitron, because I have got back to my maiden name. So enough said about that. Okay, needle and shuttle tatting is not expensive. The materials you need are inexpensive. I'm telling you right now, it is something you will enjoy. It's a wonderful pastime, especially with the quarantine that we're going through. So I'll pull out the things that we're going to need. There isn't very much. The thread that I'm using, so I'm going to set up all the little things that we're going to need. Okay? I'm going to move a few of those things around. Bear with me. It is my first class, so we're going to learn together. I am a newbie to needle tatting. I just learned a little over 3.5 weeks ago, so I'm enjoying it. I'm picking up as I go along, and I do watch a lot of YouTube videos, and my microphone wants to keep falling down. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. I need everything new in this camp. Okay, so here we go. So the first thing you're going to go is get your supplies. I am purchasing my supplies. Let's see. It wants to, this camera isn't the perfect camera in all the world, I'll tell you that right now. This is called Handy Hands. Let's see. My finger is right in the way. There you go. Handy Hands Tatting Needles. The website is www.hhtatting.com. Okay? The next thing, when you receive your needles, they come in 4 different sizes if you purchase the package. And also, I will get my books out. Just one moment. This is my first video, so I'm not quite a professional when it comes to camera. There we go. Fall down. Put my bear with me. Get what you're going to be needing to start this class. Okay. And of course, a few things help along the way. There we go. Very limited things. These things you can find anywhere at the 99-cent store. So I'm going to try to clip my microphone so it doesn't keep slipping. Let's see. This may work, it may not work. Hey, it worked. Oh, I'm so excited. It worked. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look. Let me lower it down. That works good. Okay. Like I said, everything is very inexpensive. You don't need to spend a whole lot of money. Okay, so I can hear myself. Good. I can hear myself, and that is the main thing I want to do. I'm going to put my microphone a little bit further down. Okay, so we're going to first start off talking about the needles. You're going to purchase your material, and when you purchase it, it comes with this lovely book by Barbara Foster. The kit comes with the needle and all this stuff. 2 needle threaders. I only have the one out. One is pink and then the other one is green. They come with the 4 needle tatting, and they come in 4 different sizes. Here it goes out for that. Okay, it's Handy Hands. You can purchase this anywhere. I suggest you go to Handy Hands website to order these. It's very inexpensive. So you get the book, which has all these instructions in it, and you can work your way to learning the basic techniques, how to create your chains, your rings, and all this consists of knots. K-N-O-T-S, knots. Just making basic knots, creating chains and rings. So this comes with the book. I also strongly suggest, once you get on their website, to receive your free catalog. The free catalog comes with all the necessary things you need, both the shuttles, the thread, books, DVDs, comes with patterns. Again, it shows you how to start off your project. I already ordered a lot of supplies here. What they do is they have a newsletter that comes to you, and in the newsletter you get the basic information and free patterns. So it is, sign up for that. I think that's $6 for not that many months. Like, I think you get it every 6 months, but boy is it very handy. I also suggest that you get a graph composition book, because you might want to create your own designs and write them down for future reference. And I use highlighters occasionally if I'm doing a specific pattern and I don't want to forget where my place is at. Just basic, simple highlight and a pen, of course. So maybe you want to write down when you created this idea of yours. So your supplies are your Handy Hands. When it comes to you, they come in 4 sizes. Again, you get 2 needle threaders. The size is, let's see, let me get this all organized. The size is extra fine number 8. Then it's fine number 7. Then it's, let me see, it is extra fine number 8, fine number 7, number 5, and number 3. We're going to start off with number 3. So I'm going to take my number 3. We're going to start with number 5. I'm going to take my number 5, 8, and 7 and place them in the handy little plastic container you get. And also, Handy Hands has containers that are very secure. I ordered one of those too. But for right now, I have a little box that I'm placing all my little supplies in. Again, it comes with 2 little needle threaders, and on the edge of this is a sharp little blade. So when you thread, most of us know how to thread a needle when you have the needle threader. You're also going to need a small pair of scissors as well. I do use the scissors. And a crochet hook that matches the size of your needle. And we'll get into that. You're also going to need some thread. This is a size 10 cotton merchandise thread, and you could purchase that anywhere at any craft store. They sell best to start off with something inexpensive, because if you run into a little problem, you can easily cut it and start all over again. So, let me put that away. I have been working on this beautiful triangle Moffat doily / doily, but they actually start off with a very small, you start off with a small Moffat, a little tiny one that I'm showing you right here, which consists of 6 chains and 8 rings. Within the rings are picots, and that's what you see here. This is a picot. So before we move on to attaching to the work I'm working on, we're going to start off with a sample Moffat. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in my camera. Now, this is not the best camera in the whole wide world, I'm going to tell you that. I've had it for 15 years, so during those 15 years, the zoom and I can't seem to get the blurriness out of it anymore. I really apologize, but I'm going to do everything I can to walk you through this very, very slowly. The way I was taught, what I see on the internet. This is the way they did it, and that's how I learned. So with the Moffat, it's a very simple thread design. So it's about, let's see, about 21 inches in length. This is going to be your tail end. Everything is created, it comes from the ball of thread. I have a container that I made here. It's a simple quart of milk, and I notched out the sides because I use this for other projects, and it has a weight in it. This is about maybe less than 5 pounds. You can make a weight with beans or rice and make a little square to give it some, you know, so your ball of thread doesn't wobble all over the place. And all I do is just drop it right in there, and then the notches, they come right out, comes out of there really smoothly. So this is the ball of thread. So when I talk about the ball of thread, I'm talking about what's inside here. When I talk about the tail end, I'm talking about the end of the needle. So we're going to get our needle. We're going to get our threader. I'm going to insert the needle with the thread and thread that through. It's not easy, but you'll learn as you go along. I just take a little bit. I don't put a whole bunch in there, and then I pull it through, and that is done. So again, this is the tail end. You're going to need about, let's see, an arm's length. If I was to lay my tail end to my arm and elbow, that is more than enough for this small little Moffat. But always a little more than less. So if I was to fold this in half, it would be the size from my wrist to my elbow. And then if I open it up, it's twice as long. Okay? So now that we've got that, we're going to learn how to hold it. And if you notice, I am just holding it with my 2 end fingers. My baby finger and the second, what they call the wedding finger. In there, you're going to create a loop. See that loop? That is really important. Once you create that, you're going to take your finger. With this finger, you're going to lay your thread over that finger. Lay it over that finger, because we are going to create our very first half double stitch. Needle tatting and shuttle tatting consists of double stitches, consists of chains and rings and picots. So we start off by laying our thread over our finger, taking our needle. You're going to use these two fingers to pinch your thread. Then you're going to take the other end of the ball thread. This is the ball thread now. Remember I said ball thread? You're going to take that end of the loop, of the chain loop, the loop of the tail end of your needle, and pinch it right here. See that? I've got both of them and I'm holding that really tight. You take your tatting needle and you're going to go under. See how I'm going under that finger, under, let it go. Use your other hand to hold that thread. So let's do it again. Put your work over and under. You've got your first loop. You see that? You see this little loop you created? Now slide that, hold that with your other finger. See where I'm holding it with the other hand? Because you want to hold it. You don't want that moving around. Now we want to do the opposite of that. So my hand is going under there. Bend my little finger. Go in the back side. We've created a double stitch. Again, my camera is not that beautiful. I am saving my money. They're very expensive. The more high-end quality camera you want, because I want one so I can go on social media and transfer immediately my little called microchip into my computer, so I can download the pictures and have it immediately go into my social media without any problems. So now what we're going to do to create that very first moffet, this really small little moffet right here, we're going to create 6 double stitches, a picot, 2 double stitches, a picot with 6 double stitches. Okay. So we've already created our first double stitch. This is half. This is the other half. That's 2. And then your finger is going to hold that till you feel a lot more comfortable in being able to release it later. So again, wrap your finger over, under, pull it the opposite way, pull it. We've got 3, 4, because remember we're doing half and then the other half, which makes it whole. Half, whole. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double stitches. Here's number 6, half, whole. Now slide your work up just a wee bit because we are going to create a picot. So your finger is your gauge for picots. There are little picot kits you can buy to create a picot. That's fine. But once you, I've never used one. I've never purchased one because I can feel where I'm going to stop my picot. Your finger is your gauge. So place your finger on top of your work behind the work, over, stop at the tip of that finger. There's a gap right there. You see that gap? That's going to be your picot. Now finish the other half. Slide your work over, and you've got your first, your very first picot. There it is. There's your picot. Hold on to that, because now we're going to do 2 more double stitches. So finger over and reverse them. There's your 1. 2. Now we are going to create another picot. Again, put your finger down. Your finger is your guide. See how my thread is at? Under, over. And I forgot to make my picot. I was, for some reason, I just thought I was making a stitch. So easily can be removed. Just slide your work carefully over. Take those 2 out. Use your guide. I apologize. The first stitch. Stop that right there. See that gap? I'm making them big so you can see it. Finish the other half, slide it over. It's a little big, but that's okay. Tug the other one, now they're both the same size. Again, I'm making it big because this is your very first time, like when I did mine. So we've got 2 of them that are the same size. Now we're going to proceed with 6 double stitches. Here's 1, 2. Now remember, it's half and half make 1. 3. Or you could say 1. See, this is 1. But actually, if you count them, I've got 4, 5, 6. And again, you're going to need a crochet hook. You want to count them. Well, I count from the top, from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My picot, my 2 double stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am doing great. And see the tail end? Why it's not so big? Because the moffet does not take very much. There's my loop that is at the end of my needle, caddy needle. So what do we do next? We are going to close this up to create our very first ring. That's what we're going to create. This little tiny, let's see, we're going to create our first ring. This little round circle is a ring. So you're going to get your whatever hand you work with. I know there's left hand and right hand people. We're going to take your if you're left-handed or right-handed, the same principle. You just do it the opposite way. You're going to take this hand that has the ball thread on this side. Put your fingers in that loop, that hole that's inside here. Because we're going to close this off. Hold your work up here. Your fingers, I put 3 of them. I've gotten used to doing that because I want to be secure that I don't lose the gap right here that I'm going to insert the needle in. So, we first pull our work through, just like this. Just pull it through. Now insert that needle in there. See where I just inserted? Take it out. Start pulling your thread. You're going to have to pull your your tail end out first. You don't want that going in there. So what I do is I open it up. You hands will talk to each other, believe me. Nope. See? Gonna pull that tail end of the needle, and if you do it real tight, that's what you want. You want tightness. My hand is still in that. My finger, is still in that hole right there. You see that? I can let go of it because I put the thread right through that hole. I can now hold this where the ball thread is at, and this is the tail end. On this side is the tail end. I'm pulling that thread while I'm holding the ball thread taut, and I'm pulling and pulling. Give it a nice good tug. You want to tighten it up because they're knots. Voila! You've created your first ring. And there are your 2 picots. Looks like an upside down bunny. But when you do work like this, everything consists of rings and chains and picots. Remember that. Rings and chains and picots. Okay? So you pulled it really taut, you got it nice and tight. You take your work and turn it around, and voila, you turn it around. You're going to take the tail end of your thread, lay it right on top of that ring in the half of it. See that? You're going to take your needle and lay that right on top of it, and with your hand, you're holding it like this. Now you're taking the ball of thread, because we are going to make 8 double stitches, a picot, 8 double stitches. So let's start. Finger over, underneath. There's 1/2. There's the other half. We've got 1 double stitch. 1/2. The other half. We've got 2 double stitches. 1/2. The other half. And every once in a while this will happen. I'll cross it over. Don't fear, because I get fear. Just take the crochet hook and flip that over. Every once in a while I pull it and it gets way down here, but it happens to all of us. So let's finish this off. The other half. Now we've got 4. Oops. Half. Whole, that's 5. Half. We've got the whole, that's 6. 7. 8. Okay. Let's count them. I like to start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Excellent. Now here comes our picot. Remember, we're going to use our finger as our guide. You can use your tip of your fingernail to stop. If you have nails, I don't have fingernails, but I use the tip of my finger to stop that picot from going all the way through. Again, half. Now we got the other hole. Slide it through. See how I pull that just over? Here is my picot. 8 more double stitches. 1, 2, 3. Pull your ball of thread. 4, 5, 6. And I haven't created a 6. And I should go a little slower, I apologize. 7, 8. Let's count them. Now remember, this is going to be a chain. But let's count them first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. picot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I'll show you where we're at with this. I'm going to lay my work down so I don't lose my place. As a newbie, you want to be as organized as possible. You want to get a nice little table like I have. Something to, this is just my June Taylor pin cushion. So let's take a look at what we're doing now. We are creating the chain. See that top curve? This one up here with the picot in the middle? That's called a chain. So to create a chain, we're not going to close it. We're not going to put our fingers in here to hold on to it. What we're going to do is just slide our work out all the way through. So hold this in here. This end you're going to push. After a while you'll be able to push it with your hands. Make sure that the tail end goes out. See how that tail end is now out? Hold on to that. Hold on to your ball thread. Pull, 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 pull. Pull, pull, pull. Pull it taut. When you look at it, it'll look like a C. But we're going to turn it around. That's called reversing your work. So you'll hear me say that, reverse your work. So we reversed our work, and now we are going to create a knot. And I want you to see how my thread overlaid the ball thread. There's the ball thread. Here's the tail end. I'm going to just loop it over like that. I'm going to insert my needle in that loop, hold my tatted needle, and give it a nice tug. It is locked in place. You created your very first ring and a chain. Now we are going to start joining our work to create. Lay it down flat so you can see what it looks like. Now we are going to start joining our work, and we're going to reverse the work that we just did, so we can start creating these chains, rings, chains, and rings. Okay, so remember we had our work this way, so you can see the C. Now you want to turn it around to see a backward C. So your work should be like this. We reversed our work. You're going to take your needle, place it right on top of that chain. You'll get used to this. If I can do it, you can do it. Hold on to that work. You're going to take your ball of thread, and we're going to create 6 double stitches. Remember? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if you notice, I'm always pulling 6. Voila, we've got 6. You can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so here people use either the point of their needle, which isn't pointed by the way, it's blunt, to bring in that work from the ball of thread, or they use a crochet hook, and that's why I have my crochet hook. Here is the picot. There is the ball thread. I'm going to hook that in and pull it through and over my needle. Tug it. We have created the join. We've joined that very first one together. Pull this a little bit. You want it to match all your double stitches. Now we're going to create 2 double stitches. 1, and you want it to always go way at the end. 2, and you close it up. That's 2. Okay. You're going to save this picot to the very end. You're probably wondering, well, what are we going to do with this picot? We're going to join it all when we're finally at the end of that muffin. So let's not worry about that one right now. So we've got 2 double stitches now. We're going to create a picot. Okay. Stop our work right there. Finish it off. That's 1. 2 double stitches. That's 1. 2. Picot. Finish it off. Oops, I apologize. We're not creating a picot. I made a boo-boo. Okay, let's take this all out and start right where the beginning of that picot is. That's only done when you do your very first ring. So if you wrote that down, erase it. This step consists of, from here on, all you need is to create one picot to finish your muffin. You only start off your very first ring with 2 picots. That makes sense. Okay, now we're going to finish this off with 6 double stitches. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Okay, your work should look like this. 6 double stitches. You insert it in the picot, 2 double stitches, picot, and 6. Here, your work should look like this. I like the way it looks because it looks like a little E. So when you look at it, you say, oh, it looks like an E. So, you take your fingers, because remember, this is a chain. Chains are closed at the end. I mean, rings are closed at the end. Rings are closed at the end. So moving like thread, tailoring out the way. I've got my finger inside that loop, or your hand, whatever's easier for you. I'm going to slide my work through. I want to make sure my tail end doesn't get caught in there. I'm pulling that tail end out. You see how I did that? I pulled it out. Insert my needle in that ring. And I'm going to pull, 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 pull. I'm holding this tight now. I can pull it tight, pull it tight, pull it tight. Reverse your work. Reverse your work. Knot that, make that little loop. Insert your needle in that loop. Pull your thread. Tighten it up. Look what you created already. You've created that very first little 2 rings, a chain, a ring. So 2 rings and a chain. Isn't that exciting? Let's finish this off. Work out the way. So we reversed our work, remember? Okay, so it's this way. Actually, it's this way. You'll learn after a while what goes where. Let's see. And tied it off and reversed my work. Sometimes I forget. And it's very, it can be frustrating. There it is. Okay. So with thread that you finished off with, you'll learn after a while where you left off. Don't ever panic. Says, oh, well, which way did it go? Remember, your thread's going to kind of like automatically fall where it ended up, where it's supposed to be. So you're going to take that thread and lay it right in the middle of your ring. Lay that needle on top of it so it doesn't move around. Take the ball thread, and now we're going to create a what? Ring. I mean a chain. Because it's my first video and I'm kind of excited at the same time. So we're going to create our chain. What is a chain? 8 double stitches, a picot, and 8 double stitches. I'm at 41 minutes and YouTube only allows 50. So I'm going to start this, I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to start it all over again for part 2.